You are tuned to ARP on the Accelerated Radio Network. It's 12 noon, and it's time to have lunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Lunch with the Finance Bunch. Bringing money talk you can understand. And now here's your host, Miss Charline.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Miss Charline, and welcome to Lunch with the Finance Bunch. We are so excited to have her back. Michelle Akda, how are you?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Good to see you,
Nathan.
too.
Yes, good to see you.
Transformational life coaching. We want to hear all about that. We haven't seen you in a while, and I was just saying offline that just getting caught up could take this whole hour. So we want to find out what you've been up to since last time we saw you, and you can tell us about what new things you have going on, too.
Absolutely.
That's good. So how have you been?
Oh, all is well. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Things have been great. I started a new Facebook group, which is really great because it's free. And free is always great.
Free is always good.
Certainly to start, where I add content every day. It's a daily brand new content, and it is all about things like how our thoughts become things. Monday's Mindset Monday, Wednesday's Wellness Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, or TBT, which is now Thoughts Become Things for Thursday,
I like that.
as opposed to Throwback Thursday. So every day is a day where there's new content. Sunday, I put up a video, a coaching video that I have almost 100 videos that I've done over the course of the last few years. So I always do a coaching video on Sundays. We have question and answer Saturdays. So I'm able to interact and respond to the group members. They support each other. It's become a really great place where the members of the group can support each other. I support them. And it's just a really nice, cozy place to come and visit. So it's a closed group, but I welcome everybody.
So it's almost like a chat room.
It's less a chat room. It's more about the content I deliver on that day and how people respond to it, and then
more of a discussion group.
Okay, yeah, more of a discussion. So it's generally focused around the information that's posted. Yeah, the topic of that day.
And do these people, do they come from like all different walks of life? I'm assuming.
Absolutely. Well, certainly we start out with friends,
right?
And then I've also done some Facebook ads. So there's plenty of people that I don't know and that I interact with that are just out in the Facebook world that thought, gosh, that sounds like a good group to be a part of. So I get to interact with new people, with old people, old friends, new friends, and and everybody's welcome.
Wow,
So.
that sounds
Very
fascinating.
Cool. So the website, you just gave it to me. So it's Quantum Leap FB, as in Facebook.com, correct?
Yeah, super easy to get there. You have to have a Facebook page, but doesn't everybody?
Yeah, pretty much.
If I have one, everyone has one.
Which I just have to say, this is such a tangent, but my new favorite thing, well, it's not my new favorite thing. I've thought this has been my favorite thing for a while, is when the people that threaten to delete their Facebooks. I think we've all seen that.
Yes.
I'm over this. I'm deleting my Facebook, and then they do it, and then like 2 days later
They're
come
back.
So yes,
sure,
I think everyone has a Facebook.
And those are the same people who generally voice every gripe and disgruntled moment in their life.
Exactly.
So,
They put their entire life on Facebook and then blame Facebook because everyone's in their life.
Yeah. So
right.
So that's the thing. You can use like everything Facebook as a force for good, which is how even my personal page. It's just me drinking. No. I mean, there's a few of those, but even my personal page is I don't post political. I don't comment, and it's not that I don't have an opinion. It's just not the forum. If you want my opinion, we can sit down and talk.
That's right.
And I'm not here to convince you of my political views, and nor do I want to be convinced of yours. I honor everybody. So Facebook can be used as a force for good, and then you have things like the group that I've created, and a lot of great groups out there, and you can get great content for free.
Yeah.
And interact with the coaches that actually charge thousands of dollars to work with them for free. So it's a great place to be.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. So, like, what are some of the topics that you guys discuss so far?
Well, something that I find just absolutely the most important thing to keep driving home is this idea of getting a handle on our thinking.
Yes.
Getting a handle on our thinking. And so no less than one
Train
time
your
a week.
brain.
Train your brain,
Yes.
whatever way you can figure out how to do that. So what we have to start doing is getting curious and paying attention to what it is we're thinking. And I would say that most people, including myself in the past, not as much anymore, we let our thoughts choose us. We just let our thoughts land, and we're like, well, now I'm upset, you
And
know.
we entertain them, don't we?
And and then we entertain them, and then we, bring them in and fix some dinner, those thoughts, and have a drink. And, I always liken it to, if you walked into a restaurant and you weren't given good service, would you just keep staying there, and you'd get up and you walk out? These thoughts aren't in service of us. So, so that's the idea, is to start paying attention. My mentor says, notice what you're noticing. So, where thoughts go, energy flows, the whole idea of this idea of thoughts become things. So that is a huge topic.
Yes, it is. That topic could go on forever.
Ever.
Yes.
And I do a lot of that kind of coaching with, one-on-one with clients as well, to really get a handle on their thinking and to understand not only, what am I thinking, but where did these thoughts come from also? So you talk a lot about money here.
Yes.
And very often we're handed down ideas about money, like heredity,
That's right.
And so I posit the idea to get curious about where these ideas came from, whether it's about money or whether it's about love and vulnerability.
That's right.
And then ask the question, is it really true? Is it true? And if it is true, level 1 to 10, like how true is it? It could be a 2 on the true-o-meter, like, so we can deal with that. We can deal with a 2, that's okay. Or it may very well not be true. So, so that topic is huge. I'm also a fitness instructor, so we talk about wellness, health and wellness. We talk about how to get right physically, because that's a part of it.
Yeah.
We're integrated human beings. It's not just up here or here. It's everything. This is the house we're kind of like hanging out in for the next 50, well, for me, maybe 40, 50 years. I don't know. I won't tell you how old I am, but whatever, however, for whatever length of time that we're hanging out in this house of ours. And we so don't respect it sometimes. Me too.
That's true.
Me
That's
too.
very true.
So it really is about paying attention to how we're treating our this kind of vehicle that we're moving through the world in.
I was just talking to a friend a few weeks ago about what you're hitting on right now, which is treating your body right, because it really does. They're so interconnected. Your thought, your mind, and your emotions, and your body, and how you're feeling. And I've had like back pain issues for a while, on and off, but lately it's been on. And but one of the things is there are some really simple solutions for me, like stretching out and doing back exercises and things. And if I'm not doing those things, I'm not just mistreating my body. I'm also my thoughts are on that.
Yeah.
So
right.
it really takes up a lot of bandwidth for me to think about other
It
things.
becomes
Sure.
very distracting.
Yes,
Yes.
distracting is exactly what it is. So you're so right.
Yeah, pain is a hard one. Physical pain is a hard one to really move away from when you're just inundated with pain. And so that's a whole other story. But if it's something like you and I, which are fairly healthy people, I also get back pain.
Yeah.
I know why.
Yes.
I know why. And so I can do things to alleviate that. So my thoughts aren't thinking about my back 24/7.
Yeah.
Or, most of the day.
Because you know where it's coming from, just like
Yeah.
the thoughts that you were talking about earlier. Like, where is this coming from? And that alleviates a lot when you know where something is
Absolutely.
coming from.
And I think sometimes in our thought patterns, when you say, where did this thought come from, or why am I entertaining it? It's almost like an uncomfortable but familiar, because of past experiences. So a negative thought or a thought that's inappropriate when you're trying to do something good, for instance, let's say you get a great opportunity, and then all of these thoughts of doubt and, fear and all those things start, you feel that they're just subliminally, they're attacking you, and you don't know what to do to get out of that space. You might miss out on an opportunity because those thoughts are so familiar. You don't even see them as causing you to not be able to move ahead. You just think, oh, that's the way I think.
Right.
When you can train your mind. It takes time, but you can train your mind to think a different way.
Right. Yes, and you said it's familiar, and I think that's key. I think our home setting,
Yes.
is to think lack and limitation and fear. It just is somehow in this generation, this culture, where we've been set to think, where that's the familiar place to come from. But we don't expect to get good at anything that we don't practice. And it's so funny in other areas of our life, when you think about guitar or yoga or piano, we don't expect to
or
get
education.
good at anything that
Right.
anything we aim to get good at, we practice.
That's right.
But then we think, well, that's just how I am. That's just how I am. I can't tell you how often I've heard that, from people that I really care about, and it's very disconcerting, because how you are is how you decide to be.
That's right.
And it doesn't feel like it's easy to shift, but picking up that guitar and barring for the first time, or wrapping my fingers around that, it was not easy. But then all of a sudden something shifts.
That's
because
right.
you practice. It's the same thing with thinking. People think that they can just get good at how they think naturally, and that's just not our setting. That's just not the way we're set to think. Sadly, some people are. You get those people who are just just
Right.
absolute. They're under a sun, a sunbeam all the time, and that is amazing. And I want to be around that person,
Right.
Yes.
also. And that's another thing. Who are you commiserating with? Because you'll attract whatever. Well, that's just the way I am. Well, there's going to be 14 those people just standing around waiting to, commiserate with you.
To validate each other, but really you're just...
the
The
story,
misery.
the thing.
Yes.
But as awful as that is, it's a very fair system. It's a very fair system. If you decide that's just how I am, I just love, and I just love being positive, or I just am working on my personal development, you'll find people that will surround you to support that as well. And that's what Quantum Leap is. That's what I provide for people who maybe don't have that in their life, but you can at least come every day to this Facebook page and find that. You can find it even beyond that. People are everywhere, ready to support whatever it is you believe, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yes. And what I've noticed is that when you start retraining the way you think, and you start being more positive and being more optimistic, or whatever it is that you need, what area of your mind needs to have an overhaul, right?
Yeah.
You'll notice that the pity committee starts to dissipate, because you're no longer like them. So now there's no place for them in your setting, and you do start moving towards, more positive people or people of like mind, because the group that you were in before wants to stay within that realm of thinking. So, not only do you start to move towards different types of people, those people tend to start moving away from you.
Yeah, they don't want
You're
you
no
in their
longer
group.
Yeah,
Because you're not perpetuating
they like
it
the
anymore.
rain. They like the
Yeah.
And
the
one
gray
thing I'll
clouds.
say too is that, because I feel like on a scale of 1 to 10 of being negative or being positive, I think there's been moments in my life where I've been an 11, and I think there's been moments in my life where I've been a 0.
Right.
So, but even in those moments where I have been a 0, the minute, or that moment when I decide I need to do something about this,
Right.
There are people that are a 10 or an 11 that if you're working in that direction, they still will. It's not that, because I think for me personally, I do think that validation is very important, but saying this is a problem for me, but not perpetuating it.
Right.
Saying
Right.
I want to change and I want to get out of it.
Exactly.
Which I think
Absolutely.
is so cool with Quantum Leap. I'm sure there's people that are on that all over that scale.
Oh, yeah.
That proverbial scale.
Absolutely.
And it's really cool that all of them can help each other go up the scale and
Exactly.
hopefully all be an 11.
Yeah,
at some point.
absolutely.